median income in the United States of America is $40,000. Now, this might be like, oh my gosh, that's not a lot of money. That's the average income that an American makes. The richest country in the entire world, the richest by far, $40,000. Now, the reason why I absolutely love wholesaling real estate is you can make $40,000 in probably the next 14 days, 21 days. I mean, you can even go even crazier than that. Do it in 10 days if you want to go nuts. Now, this is why I love wholesaling real estate. This is why I have continued to just talk about wholesaling real estate as the greatest thing in the entire world. But your true golden ticket in life is wholesaling houses, right? This is why, I am live in the Discord. This is why we're talking today, guys, is the golden ticket to your success is wholesaling. It's always been wholesaling. The thing about it is everyone wants to make it a magic fairy tale story of how successful, everyone can be and how only the elite of the elite and, not me. And, I kind of got fired up the other day because, some person was just saying this whole thing about the reason, this guy legit said this in the Discord. I don't think he's banned. He's actually still in here. Maybe he can shut himself out, but he legit thought the reason why he couldn't succeed in life was because there's a war of the genders. No joke. Somebody actually brought this up. They can't become successful because females are stopping him. Do you understand how brainwashed society, Gen Z is so cooked that we got some of these like influencers telling you that, oh, it's women's the reason why, you can't become successful. Maybe you can't get any girls because you're saying stuff like that. But the thing is, everyone wants to put in their mind, oh, the reason I can't get rich is the Democrats. The reason that the world is going to end is because of the Republicans. I hear this all, guys, I'm the wholesaling real estate party, all right? And I've been pretty vocal about I don't like paying my dang taxes. But outside of that, don't regulate wholesaling real estate. I'll be pretty dang happy with pretty much everything. But we have legitimate human beings in this Discord sometimes, and this is just Gen Z guys that legit think they are having these influencers tell them that this is the reason why you can't become successful or society's terrible. As somebody that studies a lot of history, I will tell you that living in society 200 years ago was way worse than it is today. All right. I promise you, living life in 1825 was way worse for everybody, okay, than it is in 2025. So whoever wants to complain to me, oh, I can't become rich, I can't become successful, bro, go back to 1825, wherever in the world you want to plot yourself on a map. To actually become rich and successful was way harder back then than it is now. So I do not want to hear any dang excuses. Excuses is literally the worst thing I could possibly hear for your success. I've truly believed this, and I have said this so hard, and I will continue to keep saying this till the day that they got to pull me away from wholesaling real estate. But as long as you have two things, air in your lungs and some concept of the English language, that's debatable, okay? We got some people with some crazy accents, very, very thick accents, learned English 3 weeks ago, Duolingo style, that are closing deals. But the one thing I will tell you, all right, in wholesaling real estate, I see so many people give me the most insane excuses in life of why they can't win. The reason you can't win is not because of these people or this person or, Mexicans crossing the border. Okay. Okay. I had a legit conversation with a dude on Discord like 3 weeks ago, and he was telling me that the illegal immigrants are the reason why he can't win in wholesaling. The amount of excuses that I hear in my brain is insanity. Okay. Insanity. All right. I had a dude also tell me, and I'll be calling everyone out today. I had another guy that told me, because he was Indian American, right? He's from India, that sellers were going to he can't get into real estate because of that. I told him, bro, have you ever pulled the cash buyers list? Most of those names are Hindu like origin names. Again, I'm definitely butchering what I say, but like, those are names usually from someone from India. Like a lot of those Indian guys go out here and just buy millions of dollars in real estate and they're super rich and successful. And so I would probably argue that you have more credibility than not, because most of these rich cash buyers are usually old dudes or like, and I've said this very, very, very much, but like a lot of like older Asian people just own millions of dollars of real estate all over the country. Like I recently sold a flip to some Chinese whole thing, and I don't get in there. Everyone's going to cry to me about it. But like people love hitting me with excuses. And the only thing that I can do to clap back is show somebody in your own basically, background becoming successful. And I've successfully done this for like 5 or 6 years on YouTube. So you could throw me with whatever excuse you want. You can throw me with the, I'm a single mom of 3. I'll show you single mom of 4 who is making millions of dollars wholesaling. You could hit me with I'm 16 years old and I can show you how much money I made when I was 16 years old. You could hit me with whatever type of wimpy, terrible excuse, but it's still, you were never going to get permission slip to me of why you can't make $40,000 in the next 30 days. And so many people want to hit me with, well, Zach, you're not a single dad, so you don't understand. Yeah, I completely agree. I think I'm a very privileged person, okay? Because I'm not a single dad of 2. But I can always show you a single dad of 2 who's making 60 grand a month and they never made that the excuse and they're an amazing father to their kids. So I might not have all the experiences in the world, but one thing I can tell you is I can show from our amazing community of hundreds of thousands of wholesalers that anybody can do it. Every single person. So if you want to make $40,000, it's super dang simple. It's not magical. You're literally going to follow a path that we have laid in this Discord, laid in freewholesaling.com, and I've laid for 5 or 6 years on YouTube on how you're going to get rich, start making a ton of money. First and foremost, we're going to stop overcomplicating this. Everybody wants to treat us wholesaling like we are some crazy like hedge fund, Wolf of Wall Street, Stratton Oakmont, like hedge fund, private equity firm that were all these big shots in crazy suits. I mean, nah, okay? No, okay? I buy millions of dollars of real estate, no loans, and like a simple Superman shirt and a hat, okay? Life's, as a real estate investor, life's a little different. But the craziest part about it is in wholesaling, all we do is write contracts and sell contracts. That is it. So if somebody ever wants me to explain, just give me 2 steps to what you do for a living. And this is, I forgot what rule, some psychological book, but it's like, if you can't explain what you do, like what you do for work to a 3rd grader, then you don't understand your job. And it's very, very true. I write a contract, then I sell a contract. That is what I do. Now, there are definitely steps in between that we can talk about, but that is what we do. So step 1 is writing the contract. How do we write a contract? Well, we got to find somebody who wants to write one with us. And the contract's got to be at the appropriate price where we can sell it. You see, I can't sell a piece of pizza for $50 usually in Miami or something like that, right? Most people are going to pay $50 for a piece of pizza. But they'll pay about $3 or $4 easily for a piece of pizza, especially if they're drunk at 3 a.m. So the craziest part about this is, okay, well, I know I can't make pizza for $40 a slice. I got to make it for like $1 and then sell it for 3 or 4 or whatever, right? That's just usually how those margins go. So you understand that whatever it costs for me to produce, I have to sell it for more than that. So monkey see, monkey do. I write a contract for $100,000, then I need to sell the contract for $110,000. I write a contract for $1 million, I need to sell it for 1.1, 1.2 million. Wholesaling is so simple, okay? You write up a contract, you try to sell for a little bit above that. Profit. Done. Done. So whoever wants to go throw out the calculators and the transgressional analysis and the protractors and all these stupid things, I can't stand it. let's make this so dang simple that everyone becomes successful in this, all right? This is what I'm trying to do. This is my mission today, all right? So we solve problems. We don't offer people cash for their homes. So a lot of people, we just buy, we offer to buy the house for cash, and we write yes and no. The one thing you should really start focusing on is solving people's problems. What you need to do is you need to give value, and then you receive value. So we get properties under contract for discounted prices because we have a valuable service we give to sellers. Now, I'm not selling a service, but it is basically a service for them, right? Make sure so we can legally still cold call. So just to understand this, that you have to provide something valuable to your motivated seller. And we always think, how do I provide something valuable for me? It's not about me. And when you start approaching a relationship like this, and we're not going to go into another 10-hour Zach rant today, but so many people in the real estate space and just networking in general, it's always about what can you do for me? It's never what I can do for you. And then karma is always going to repair itself. But when you go to a seller, how can I help them out? Not just shove an offer down their throat. Like, what is your problem? And what's a good solution? Hey, I want to sell my house. Okay, well, why don't you sell it with a realtor? But what, you guys think that a seller's going to say, I never thought about that. Thanks. No, they're talking to you because you're not a realtor. So there's a specific reason why they did not go with the realtor. Then we uncover that reason. That is a problem. Well, a solution is I could buy the property for cash. There we go. The thing is, you just have to help the sellers out in their situations and understand them. Generally give them sympathy, not empathy. So many people want to give sellers empathy. No, sorry, they want to give them sympathy, not empathy. My bad. I'm reversing it. Does anybody in here know the difference between empathy and sympathy? Does anybody in here know? Pretty clear difference. Most wholesalers give sympathy, not empathy. So sympathy is just pretty much words, okay? Most of what I have found from sympathy is just words. Oh, my grandma died. Oh, I'm sorry that your grandma died. Versus empathy. And the best way I can describe empathy is when you hear someone's problem or situation, you actually feel it within yourself. Like you almost to a point where you take on that pain and you kind of low-key experience that pain with them. It's the best way. It's like wearing a mask of their pain and then trying to put it in kind of through their shoes and their situation. And basically what I mean by this is, oh my gosh, your grandma died. I'm so sorry. That's awful. And usually if you've gone through a similar experience, then you might want to share that. Maybe that is good rapport building. I lost my grandma, whatever, right? Now you don't have to get on the whole crying thing, but like, at least, wow, like they actually care. And it's not like you have to go out here and experience that with them, right? So like knock on wood, last week me and Rick were calling PPL sellers, right? And this guy mentioned losing his son. Now, Rick obviously has not lost his son. Knock on wood. These wholesaling coaches were close, but they never got there. So trust me, I got a good defense. All right. But, Rick obviously never experienced that, and I hope he never experiences that. But Rick felt it in his soul how gut-wrenching that could have been. And he let the seller know how sorry he was truly. And we still have the whole recording of it, and we have we're going to release the recording too, so it's going to be pretty sick. But you see through these conversations, oh wow, Rick really cares for what happened, right? You actually show that you feel what they went through. Not that you've been through the same exact thing, but at least you show some care that happened. So that's the first and foremost very important thing. And then this flows into the next part, which is kind of what I'm calling like the unteachables. This is very difficult for me to teach to people, but it is a must for success. And this is why it's so difficult to talk about this, right? To have success in wholesaling real estate, you must have this thing, but I can't teach you to have it. Now, what this is the buzzword of the century, confidence. Now, confidence is a funny word too, because everyone thinks they know the definition of confidence, but no one really does. So the definition of confidence is a belief in the words you say and the things you do. So if you talk to a seller and say, hey, me and my partner are looking to buy your property for cash. Are you interested in selling it? Do you see how I kind of didn't stutter my words and I wasn't, oh, me and my partner we're looking to buy your house for cash? I'm not even looking at you dead in the eye. Now, half the time is because I've done this for 8-9 years straight. And so I've already gone through the awkward stages. I'm pretty dang polished with this. It's kind of like, you know how you're driving sometimes and you kind of, maybe I'm the only one in the entire world to experience this, but do you ever like realize like you're driving and you're like, I'm driving. Like subconsciously you already pulled out of your driveway, you went left, you went right, now you're on the highway, you're going 80 miles an hour, like, wow, I'm driving. Kind of like you're hypnotized. It's because you're so used to just driving that it's kind of like second nature. Now, maybe I'm the only one who's crazy enough that feels like this, but it's like your body already knows what to do because you've done it so many dang times. Crazy. Absolutely crazy to think about that, right? But like you're still like a squirrel comes out, you're still going to react, right? But that's how you have to be like pretty much for wholesaling. That's the craziest part about it, all right? Is in wholesaling, it's kind of the same thing. You've been through all of these situations. You know exactly how it's going to go. Then once it happens, done. You already know how to react, and you already know how to explain to a seller what you do and how you can actually go out here and buy the property for cash. And so the thing is, confidence has to become second nature of your belief. So when I say confidence, it's not a crazy buzzword. It's not me trying to make you feel good or me trying to sell you some confidence course. Confidence is just a belief in the things you do, the words you say, and everything you ever do in your life. So let's kind of use this for an example, right? And I like using this for an example because I don't think I've used this example, but I had a buddy in college and we always had fun times, right? Now, I remember distinctly going to these like big frat parties in college and, you know, this guy was a shredder on the guitar, like AC/DC, like Jimi Hendrix, like dude was crazy on the guitar. Dude was crazy on the guitar. Okay. If we had girls over or whatever, right? And there was girls there, he'd just take the guitar, shred it and go crazy, right? But if he did not have his guitar and he had to go rizz up some ladies, he was really bad. Like sweating bullets nervous. Now, there's nothing wrong with the guy, right? You know, it took him a couple semesters, but he's fine now. But it's his belief when he had a guitar, because he believed when he had the guitar, he's practiced it so much that he could just shred it and he had no fear in the world in front of, you know, anyone. But when he didn't have his guitar, he didn't have a belief that, you know, he could, you know, have a nice conversation. That's the best way I could describe it. I'm not trying to be weird here, but I'm just trying to explain that this guy literally couldn't do anything without his guitar sometimes. And, you know, he had to learn. But the thing about it is, what was different in those situations? The main difference was a belief. He didn't believe that he could do it because he's done the guitar so many times that if he practices the guitar, he just rips the guitar. He's going to go out here and just, he's not going to fail. He's done it so many dang times. And so the moral of the story here is if you do something so many dang times, it doesn't matter how nervous you should be. If you've done it so many times, you're just so used to it that it becomes second nature and you're almost elite at that thing. And, you know, you got to get through some experience and you're fine. But I could tell everybody in here that the reason you don't feel confident, most likely, and the fastest way to solve it, there's no magic button, but is to just go through it enough times, right? If you're nervous to play basketball, you've played basketball a couple of times, you become way less nervous. That's just how it works. And a lot of people get nervous because the fear of the unknown, the fear of what could happen. And I promise you that, like, if you have a fear of talking to a seller, the worst thing you can do is just say, oh, you're a jerk, you're mean, you're terrible. Don't ever speak to me ever again. Oh. I always say this, but like, what if someone called you a poopy head? You know, and replace the word poopy head with whatever word in the English language. You know, I always tell people, but you know, I've played Black Ops 1, 2, Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and Modern Warfare 3. There's nothing you could physically tell me as a human being that has not fazed me ever since playing Xbox live chats. And I'll tell you this, the day I delete this YouTube channel is the day I delete this YouTube channel is the day the Xbox live chats come out. You know, the servers leak out on Microsoft. I'm done. I'll probably just delete the channel. Probably live in some bungalow in Jamaica and just say bye to the world. But you know, a lot of y'all guys in middle school are coming down with me. Okay, no joke. But basically, just joking there. But if they ever did, I will tell you this, if they ever did release the Xbox live chats, specifically from 2010 to 2015, there's gonna be a lot of consequences to the young Call of Duty players out there. But if you just go through it so many dang times, you're gonna feel so confident. You're gonna have so much confidence, so much belief, right? And the last part here to become kind of unstoppable here is to have just reliable deal flow coming in. And so many people don't even understand that either, but like, how do you get consistent deals coming in your CRM? You just consistently market. That's it. So from the top here, if you want 4 steps to start making $40,000, you know, the median, literally you could make the median income in the United States of America in 2 weeks by just following this 4 steps. Number 1, and I'm just making this a rule for anyone that is struggling. All right. Find a seller in a distressed situation. Not even an ugly house somewhere, just a distressed seller. Because if the seller's distressed financially, the house is a given to be financially distressed because they can't upkeep on the house. That's just the dang truth. So if somebody has a distressed situation, so what's a distressed situation? Possibly they're not paying the mortgage. That could be a pre-foreclosure. Possibly somebody passed away. They became, what the TikTok kids say, unalived. You know? But can you say that about somebody that naturally passed away? I don't know. But they were unalived. They crossed the yellow brick road. That's pretty distressed because no one's taking care of the house anymore. Okay, number 3, they have a lien on the house, so maybe they're not paying their IRS taxes, maybe they're not paying their state taxes, maybe they're not paying their credit cards. That's pretty dang distressed to me. And another distressed point, and I know it doesn't sound distressed, but a vacant house. It's a very distressed point too. Now, some people just love to own multiple houses because they're all, you know, Mr. Richie Rich, but some houses are just vacant sitting there basically from nothing. And those are sellers you want to talk to. But it really doesn't matter. Find people that have a distressed situation, and the best way to give relief to them is to give them money. Ever watch Squid Game? They all want money. They all want money. And you can find these people that want money that own an ugly house. They get money, you get money. It's a win-win. We don't have to go play a red light, green light, okay? No one's got to go. We just get to help people out. That is a win-win in my books. All right. But it's just a situation where everybody wins. Nobody gets hurt. Everyone's having a great time here. This is what I 100% will recommend for everybody in here. Provide cash offers. That's what we do. Now, the marketing part is where we get complicated. I'll tell anyone, if you're broke, just pull the government list we provide in freewholesaling.com. That's all you really need, guys. I don't know why anyone will even stress out over this. Just literally go to freewholesaling.com. All of our government lists are there. All the free skip tracing. You can go get X leads if you want. But honestly, I'll help anyone for free. I really don't care. Okay? And I've always been a proponent of helping everyone for free. Somebody texted me today. They're a YouTuber. I didn't realize this, but they sent me a screenshot of the first time I ever talked. They're like, we talked before. I'm like, what do you mean? They did a one-on-one with me 5 years ago. They did a one-on-one with me. And I did these public one-on-ones for 5 or 6 years now. The kid was like 15, 16 years old. He's like, I'm trying to, can you help me out with my marketing plan? I was like, oh my gosh. It's been 5 years since we talked. That's crazy. And I've always been a proponent of helping anybody in any situation get rich and successful. And that's why step 2 is important. But again, this is having the right script. This part's been kind of the easiest to change in life. And this has always been the easiest now, by far. But the training for acquisitions is the easiest one ever. Because AI has pretty much been elite at acquisitions forever. And now with the new like Zach GPT, right? So I always talk about this. If you just go to ChatGPT and you go to the GPT tab on the left and you just search wholesaling on the GPT, my wholesaling bot always pops up number 1. All you do is press voice and just teach me to close. Let's go through some role plays. The AI role playing in Wholesaling.com is the best I've ever seen. And how naturally it is. Everyone says, oh, GPT-5's bad. GPT-5 is amazing right now, especially when it's role plays with talking to sellers. Let me actually give everyone the link to this GPT because that's how insane this thing is. But it's really powerful. And if you know how to use it correctly, which let me give everyone the link really quick. It's absolutely insane. Just go to Wholesaling.com and you'll actually see it right in there. But you can literally learn how to do anything in that GPT because it's trained off of, I think, 10,000 hours of YouTube content, which you guys physically can't even go through. And it'll give you all of our scripts. Now, our scripts, obviously, for Wholesaling.com, we have our 34-page PDF and stuff like that. So easy to win. Now, step 3, once we go out here, find distressed sellers, we use the right script, we give an offer. Number 3, we're going to put the property under contract. Now, we are going to put it under contract for $40,000 below what somebody is willing to pay. Now think about this for a second. Really, really think about the way I'm describing this. If a cash buyer is willing to pay $200,000 for this property, so to buy the contract from you, they'll pay $200,000 for the contract. If you can write the contract for, let's do the mental math here, $160,000, then you, sir, will receive $40,000 in your bank account, wired, or receive a check, whatever you want to call it, right there. That is how amazing wholesaling is. And the cool part is, I'm not crashing out. I usually like to scream and shout and get all worked up. But that is what wholesaling is. How do I make, and I'm trying to think about it. I'm getting, I got to suppress myself sometimes. But how do I everyone asks, Zach, how do I make $40,000 on a deal? I'm only making 10. Lowball! Seriously, that's all it is. Make lower offers, make more money. How do I put this in your dang head any easier? Okay, if you offer lower, you're just going to get contracts for lower prices. And we've been screaming from the rooftops forever. Where's this dang book? I always talk about this book. We give this book to all of our acquisitions managers to read because they have to understand the importance of this. But it's a fun little book. Okay? This book is called Go for No. Called Go for No. One of my favorite books of all time. It is a book, really, and basically the front cover of the book says, yes is the destination, okay? Obviously, the destination is to get a yes, but no is how you get there. It's a book from Richard Felton and Andrea Walt. But this is one of my favorite books of all time, okay? And I just love it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but no can ever hurt me. And this is one of the top sales books ever, all time. It's called Go for No. And I'll tell you what the whole book is in under basically a sentence. But if you just make offers where you know they're going to say no, you're always going to end up making more money. That's always been the presence, the whole essence of my wholesaling real estate mantra, how Rick's mantra has been, how all of our mantras. There's a reason you're going to see $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 deals from everyone in our community, and no other wholesaling community can get that. And maybe it's because we are the largest wholesaling community. No. The reason why we get that is, geez, I'll just throw it on the top, is we just lowball people. I mean, that's what it is. And everyone gets so offended at that. Everyone gets so offended. It's so crazy, and I don't know if anyone in here knows what the Young Turks are. I think it's the largest left-leaning like political commentary show. And this is me not talking about how my politics. I'll tell you this: those guys can. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Most of their videos drive me crazy, but they made a whole video about how it's so bad. They reacted live to Rick doing a video like 6 years ago saying lowballing's good. And you get some worked up news anchor lady and she's like, oh, how dare he says that you should lowball sellers? How dare you? Well, they could have said no. Okay, how about this? How about I drive over, take my whip. How about we do this? Okay. Was it? Yes, Andrew is correct. That is the lovely old woman that is the lovely old woman that was very outraged over. That woman is very outraged over a lot of things in the world. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. But the craziest thing about it was if you buy, okay, let's do a standard. Let's say you buy a Ford Bronco for like $60,000 off the lot. All right. And you take it off the lot. Let's say you buy a Ford Bronco, 45 grand used. All right. So you bought the car from, let's say, Carvana for $40,000. And the car is worth $40,000. You didn't get screwed from the car dealership, right? You bought it for 40, it's worth 40. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't think anyone's upset with that, right? Did you know, and this is where all the outrage in the world comes from, did you know that evil car dealership bought the car for $34,000? Oh, how dare that company make money by selling cars? So they bought the car for under what it was worth to just some guy trying to trade it in because he didn't want to deal with the hassle of selling the car. And he sold it for below its worth, and then the car dealership sold it for what the car was worth. So you're upset is anyone upset that car dealership lowballs somebody, buys it for below where it's worth, and then sells it for what it's worth? Nobody's mad at that. But so if I buy the car for 40 and then I go to, let's say, CarMax, they're going to offer me $33,000 for the car the same day. Should I go to the Young Turks and talk about how, oh, I'm just a poor old woman? No. Well, why don't you just sell the car on the market and try to get it for the most? But I want to get it for the most, and I want to get it sold quickly. Get out of here. So when I do that with real estate, though, I am like the devil. Okay? I got my little devil horns, apparently. I'm the worst human being ever to live. I'm like, oh yeah, get out of here. But it's so funny that I see this happen all the dang time. It's people that don't understand real estate. I mean, real estate's insane because it takes 12% of the actual sale price to even sell a house. People don't even understand that either. Like most Joe Schmoes, okay, don't understand that. But let me do some math for you. Let's just use a house that's worth $200,000 as a really easy example, okay? Let's do some math, all right? If we go out here, all right? Let's go out here. Oh, my gosh, what in the world's that? All right. Let's say we go out here, and here we go. All right. Quick numbers, all right? We have a house, which is $200,000. If I buy a house that is worth $200,000, okay, and I buy it, let's just say for $200,000, I pay no fees. The seller, paid all of it. Okay, cool, whatever, right? Whatever. I bought a house for $200,000 and it's worth currently $200,000. All right, cool. And see, I bought the house for $200,000 And now I'm going to throw it back on the market. Guess how much at closing if I find somebody to buy the house for $200,000? Do you know how much I'm going to net my pocket? Am I going to lose $1,000, $2,000? No. You, on average, are going to net at the end of that sale $176,000. That means if you're somebody who buys houses for what they're worth and then sells them for what they're worth, you would lose $24,000. So you got to understand that in house flipping, and this is really important we understand this, in house flipping, if you don't buy real estate at least 20% below what the thing's worth, you are going to lose money. You're not even going to break even. You will lose money by just buying houses at 80% of the value. Really think about that for a second. So when I say you should be doing even lower than that, it's not because I'm some evil devil. It's because that's just how you make a profit. It's the reason why Zillow had their cash offer program and they got destroyed, because they didn't want to lowball and they ended up losing billions of dollars because they wanted to give fair offers. You know what happens when you get fair offers in real estate? You lose billions of dollars. Let me look up OfferPad for a second. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about OfferPad, but let me look at their stock. Okay. Let's look at OfferPad. Stock's up 25%. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Let's look at their earnings. Okay. Let's look at their earnings report. All right. Third quarter 2025 earnings call. Who wants to hear OfferPad's 2025 latest quarter? Let's go look at their press release. All right. August 4th, 2025. All right, let's look at all their money, okay? This quarter, OfferPad, which, you know, they basically buy and sell houses, right? OfferPad had $160 million in revenue and they sold 452 houses. Wow, that's impressive. Their adjusted EBITDA, which is their earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, was $4.8 million. Think about that. And let me give everybody the link really quick in the Discord. OfferPad is, you know, they're trying to make a profit. They're going to lowball you. Their net loss. Oh, my bad. 15 million. Oh, their EBITDA. No, let me screenshot this so everyone can see in this too. Q2, they lost $15 million. They're losing $60 million. This is insanity. This company is losing $60 million a year just adjusting the revenue times 4 because they give fair offers. I don't even know how to lose $60 million. I'm just a money-making machine. But I couldn't even conceive a real estate business where I would lose that much money. It is insanity. And I really do believe because they don't work with wholesalers, that is their main issue. I truly believe that they worked with wholesalers, they could probably solve this issue. But OfferPad loses $60 million a year, and they give way better offers than you and I do. So when I talk about lowballing, don't feel, oh my gosh, how dare you? 60 million, 15 million a quarter. That is insane. So do the lowball offer. Then once you write up the contract, you find a cash buyer to buy it for what it's worth. So you write up for a contract below what it's worth, then you sell it for what it's worth or slightly below. One quote I heard once was you write up contracts for a deep discount and you sell it for a deep discount. I really like that one. I didn't ever invented that one, but I heard that. I thought it was pretty cool. But just find a cash buyer who has a problem and you can solve it. Can I tell you the reason? Most cash buyers have big problems. They have to use realtors, and everyone hates a Botox brand realtor. They get their Botox injections, right? Jab, 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 and the Botox gets in their brain and they all act all crazy, right? That's just how I believe realtors work. That's just how they work. But basically, most of these realtors are absolutely trash. All right. I don't know how else to say this. And that means cash buyers have to pay way more than what the properties are even worth, and it's just a bad idea, right? But guess what? You can provide contracts for way cheaper than what they use realtors for. It's like going to Costco versus Kroger or Publix. Way better to go to Costco. Better experience, and you get it for a cheaper price. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity. So the question here is, what is really stopping you from becoming successful? Why can't you have success? Why can't you make a ton of money in this business? The truth is, either you have bad market or you have bad marketing. For most people, that is going to be your two reasons why you can't have any success in this business. And I truly am probably going to lean towards a bad marketing than the market. Most people in the right market, again, over 100,000 population for the city or county, and median home price below $500,000, you're pretty much good to go. But if I just want to make this even simpler for anyone to have success, I'm going to say just do what other wholesalers are doing. So if you find wholesalers having a ton of success, like a ton of success, just do what they're doing. Hey, you're cold calling the government unless you're making money. Let me do the same exact thing. So what this whole discourse is literally all about. And that, guys and gals, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, how you get rich wholesaling real estate. You can make a median income for the average American in a couple of weeks by just lowballing, finding good sellers, writing contracts, and selling the contracts for massive profits.